how are you today? So I was thinking this week, my mind goes all the time. I mean, like all the time. It's always thinking of ideas, to-do list items, and so much more. So I figured, let's do a session about that. What do you do when your ideas just come faster than you can capture them and you're on the go? So how do you get them all in one place that later you can find them when you need them? I hope you can relate to this because as an entrepreneur, this is something that I battle with often. So I've got some ways that I have used to keep these all together and be more productive on the go. Now, these are all my top ways to capture the ideas quickly and from anywhere. So whether I'm in the car, I've even set some things up so that when I'm in the shower, if I come up with one of those ideas or something that I need to remember, I've got ways to capture it. And if you stick around, I do have a special announcement and bonus at the end. So hang out for this whole video. I'll try not to make it too terribly long, but if you have any questions as we go, please ask, because that's why it's live instead of just recorded. Hey Mary, so good to see you. I'm glad to see everybody who's already hopped on. If you've not said hi, please shout out. I'd love to see who's on because it does not always tell me everyone. But I'm glad to see that Mary's here and I'm glad to see that Ruth is here. Good to see you both. So today we're talking about three things. First off, we will cover what to do with those ideas for one day. You know, the ones that you're not really ready to do right now and put into action, but you don't want to lose them because at the time at least, they seem pretty important and rather genius, if I do say so myself. Also, we'll talk about the easy ways to collect multiple types of ideas for when you're ready. So that way you can be gathering information for certain projects that you might not be working on right at that moment. And we'll also talk about what about when you're on the go? So you're running around, you might be in the car, you might be in the middle of walking down the street and you just can't log into your to-do task manager, go to the right spot, type everything in. How do you capture that idea then so that it's not just gone? Because I don't know about you, but if I don't write my idea down right away, it's just gone forever. So I do this a lot. If you don't already know me, my name is Suzanna Kaye. I'm the creator of the 365 Project, which is a way to make a permanent change in your mindset about your home and all those mental shifts to help you be more organized and productive. It's a step-by-step guide to decluttering, but also just that mental shift, that daily reminder that helps you make a permanent change. There's also an exclusive community of people who are members, and it is one of the most supportive and wonderful communities I've ever seen. I love them all. So if you're interested in that, check us out at my365project.com. I'm also the owner of Spark Organizing in Central Florida. We do one-on-one in-home organizing, so you can check out sparkorganizing.com for more about that. But that's enough about me. Let's get on to the real stuff. All right, first off, one of the things I wanted to start to do was send out some shout outs. Every once in a while, more often than not, I get some amazing feedback from people and lovely comments or questions that are really important. And I'd like to recognize some of those people who've been really watching me and encouraging me along the way. So this week, I just wanted to say thank you to Roy on YouTube. Roy left this wonderful comment if you didn't see it. I'm going to read it for you real quick. He says, "Kitchen timer, Everlast notebook, and bullet journal. You are changing the way I do life. I must say thank you. These tools mixed with your motivating videos are making a difference in 2018. Roy, that was so awesome to read this morning. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this video as well, and I look forward to many more with you. And if you guys have not sent me some sort of a shout out or comment, I would love to hear what you think. Positive or negative, I'm always looking to improve. All right, you might be watching this on YouTube. If you are, every Thursday at 11 a.m. on the Spark Facebook page, I go live. Now, if you're not watching me on YouTube and you don't know that I have a YouTube channel, just head on over there and search for Suzanna Kaye. I have a ton of videos already up there. So if you haven't checked those out, then now's the time. Well, maybe not now. Wait until the end of the video and then head on over. Thanks so much, Mary. Yeah, it is wonderful. I love to hear back from people when they've commented and what they think about videos, even if it's something that's constructive criticism. If it's not so constructive, I make it constructive in my mind and take it and run with it. So I really love that. Okay, so let's dive right in. You're in the car or you're rushing down the street and you just have a great idea that comes into your head, right? Another one. So you don't really want to forget it. What do? I use voice notes a lot. Now this is the native app that comes in my phone. So whether you're on Android or on iPhone, there's a voice recording app already on there, or there's some that you can download. Because I come up with ideas really quickly and often when it's not convenient for me, I have voice notes saved on my home screen in a place that it's super easy to get to. That way, when I'm on the run, I can just ask Siri to add it to my voice notes and open that up, or I can just tap the button super fast so that I'm not doing anything dangerous. I wait for the stoplight, and at the stoplight, I tap the voice note, and then I just talk my idea out. Now, that's not so helpful for coming back to it later and seeing really quickly what the idea is about. It does require some follow-up. When I'm in a safe place and I can focus a little bit better without tripping over a pothole or crashing into somebody, because we do not do phones and drive here, right? Then I go back to those voice notes and I can either save them in as they are a whole and just save it with a name with all the keywords so that they're searchable and I can understand exactly what in the world I was talking about, because the names that they give it are not helpful at all. It's some random string of letters and numbers usually. Or I will quickly transcribe the idea in a way that makes sense for when I am going to go back to it. Now, the key with the voice notes is don't just leave them in voice notes without any identification, because that's where the system will fail you. Make sure to name them, and in the end, you want to get it to whatever system is holding that type of notes. So say the idea quickly within voice notes. A lot of times you can even tie this to something like OK Google or Alexa. And that way you could just have voice notes turn on and start talking, which is wonderful. Siri, I think, also can just open it right up, and it's super useful. So that's great when you're in the car. But what about the millions of ideas that come to you that you're not ready to act on yet, but they're amazing? Okay, we all know that we go back to that list later and maybe 3 of the 300 are amazing, but at the time they seem urgent. But you're not ready to actually act on them, so they aren't appropriate on your to-do list, right? Because that would just clutter out the to-do list. You're not going to do them right now. You're not in the position, or you're focused on something else. And we do want to complete the projects that we're working on before we start new ones. So I use the task management app called Todoist. Now, there are a bunch of different apps out there. You can use whichever one that you like the most. The reason I like Todoist for those one-day items, the ones that one of these days I'll get around to, but I'm not quite ready yet. I love it because it's accessible across all of my devices, whether I'm on my iPad, my iPhone, an Android, my computer. Todoist is there. It also can interact with a lot of the programs that I already use. So, for example, it works with Alexa and it works with Google Home. So I can just talk to it to add something to the list without a problem. That makes it super easy. Now, I usually just add things in quickly to the inbox and then sort them later, because I do have a one-day list. And my one-day list does have some sub-lists based on whatever project they might go with. So within my Todoist, it says one-day items, and then there are some sub-projects that I can sort into. But if I'm in a hurry, you know I am not going to go to that length to organize them, and it would just be a hot mess, because that's how I roll. I am totally a hot mess if I don't force myself into organizing. So I dump it all in the Todoist inbox. And then when I sit down to organize my thoughts, plan my day, I can just sort them into the correct places, give them any tags that they might need, flesh out the idea a little bit more. It's awesome. Also, if you use Slack or Dropbox, then you can interact with that in Todoist as well. So you can attach files and photos, and you can share conversations. So Todoist, super powerful. Mary just said that her Alexa heard me say her name. Alexa, what is the weather? I just wanted to see if that works for you, Mary. Let me know what the weather is. I love that. But that's exactly how easy it is, right? When you're using Todoist, you can say, Alexa, please add to my Todoist list, and then just say what you want it to add. So flippin' easy, right? Now, like I said, it works across all devices. It's free for a basic membership to Todoist, which makes it even better. Most of the premium features you don't necessarily even need for just capturing those quick ideas and doing your basic to-do list. So premium adds in reminders, automatic backups, commenting on your tasks. These are awesome, and I use a lot of these frequently because I do use the premium version because I use Todoist a lot for my to-do lists. But if you're just using it for that quick capturing and organizing of one-day ideas, you probably don't need that. So the premium is $29 or so a year as of this video. And right now, the basic membership is free. So hop on with the free, don't upgrade unless you find that you need it. So that's my quick brain dump for one day. Now, Mary, 71 degrees and partly sunny. It sounds wonderful in South Carolina right now. I think it's wonderful. I love how we've been able to automate some things to the point where we can just speak it. Pretty soon, though, it's a little scary. They'll probably put a chip in our brain, so all we have to do is think it. I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. I'd rather at least speak it out loud. Now, there are also times where I have an entire project that I gather a lot of information for. That's probably a little bit more than I want to keep dumping into Todoist, and is definitely more than I want to keep doing voice notes for. A lot of times with these massive projects, for example, the book that I'm writing, I will find a link that inspires me, a photo that I absolutely love that can help me with the book cover, a resource link, or an idea that I need to type out. And all of these different types of ideas, I need a way to capture. And I don't want them in front of me when I'm not working on that. So what do? I email it to myself. Okay, I know that I just heard you groan. Because the last thing you want are more emails in your inbox, right? I know, me too, because my inbox gets so full. So the way that I do this, I actually create new emails for large projects. For example, when I'm working on the book, I have an email. I'm not going to share the exact email. I don't want you guys emailing me there because this is private for just my book. But it would be, for example, susannabook@gmail.com. Or when I'm working on the 365 project and gathering information for that, I can quickly email things to myself at susanna365@gmail.com. That way, when I'm ready to work on that project, I can just open up that email. And everything that I've saved for it is there. I can even create folders and organize some of it for later, for things that I'm not even ready to work on yet within that project. So it's kind of like my own little online filing system, but one that I have super fast access to. Because we all access our emails so often and so easily, right? Just about everything has a share button on it where you can just email yourself. So I email myself all the time. And I try to make my email addresses memorable and consistent. So they always start with the word Susanna, and then the next word is usually whatever topic it's on. And that's it. So that way I can be super consistent and I don't have to try to remember what email address I created for it. I also like Gmail for that because their app is really easy to switch between email accounts and just see whatever project I'm working on at the time. That's helpful. It also interacts with just about everything. I mean, I think Google's taking over the world, and I'm kind of okay with that because they've made my life easier. So I create those email addresses. Some other email addresses that I have that I created, I have one simply for newsletters. So all those things that you set up, those freemiums, a freemium, if you don't know what that is, it's that free premium content they give you when you sign up for their email list. So it might be, that ebook on the top 10 gardening tricks. That right there is called a freemium, and then you know that you'll also get their newsletter. So I have an email address specifically to sign up for those freemiums and newsletters. So that way I don't have an inbox full of newsletters, and when I'm ready, a lot of these newsletters I do want to read. If I don't, then I'll just unsubscribe super fast when they first send that email, and I'll just grab that content and let go of the newsletter. Who knows, if it's really good content, I might resubscribe, but I don't need it right away. But then I've got one email address with just the newsletters. So whenever I'm ready, I can pop in there and read whatever I want to read, save whatever I want to save, and I don't have it cluttering up my inbox. The other one that I use a specific email address for that I love is a junk email. So my junk email address is anything that I don't want to receive emails from them, besides possibly the one that I sign up with. For example, when I buy something online, they always need an email address in order to create an account, verify your order, all of these things. You know you're going to be on their list, and quite possibly they're going to sell your email address. Now, thankfully, the newsletter people don't do this, so I don't worry as much about the newsletter email because most people are on the up and up when it's a newsletter. It's kind of a little bit more personal, but those businesses have no problem selling your email address a lot of the time. So I have a specific email called my junk email, and I only use my junk email address for signing up for things that I never really want to hear back from them. If I'm doing an online order, then I know I can log into that junk email address whenever I want to check that order confirmation, check on shipping status, that type of thing. I can still hop in there. But it is amazing how many emails I have in that junk email that I never signed up for. So you know that it's been sold. That's why it's in a separate email, because I don't want my main email to be cluttered up with things that I never asked for and I don't want. So those are some of the ways that I use email to keep myself organized and capture ideas and have them ready for me whenever I'm ready to work on them. So like I said, set up separate email addresses, make sure that the names are consistent so you can remember what the email address is in order to email yourself the project. And then go ahead and create like a junk and a freemium or a newsletter email so that you separate those things out too. That way everything's categorized and in its place for when you're ready for it. So I hope that helped you out as well. Oh, hi Joanne, good to see you. I'm so glad that you could join us today. I hope you're feeling well. Now, after all that, you know some super easy and organized ways to make sure that your best stuff is easy to find right when you need it. Just to review, we talked about using an email address that's especially for a project or purpose that's not your regular email. We talked about using Todoist to brain dump all of those one-day items so that they're there for you when you need them, but they're out of your way and not on your to-do list until you're ready. Then we also talked about, oh, see, I already forgot what we talked about. We talked about the voice notes. That's what it was. When you're on the go and your brain is as full as mine gets, as you all probably have seen, my brain gets really full. So voice notes are a great way to quickly grab an idea when you are not able to just stop and type safely. So using your voice notes, super helpful. The key with all of this is though, be consistent. Use the same app or process for whatever type of information it is. For example, if you're going to use Todoist for all of those one-day items, don't also add one-day items in your reminders and on your to-do list that you use every day. No, stick to the one. Or if you're going to use, for example, that newsletter email, don't suddenly use that newsletter email for a junk sign up or to dump a book idea. Or don't also save your book ideas if you have a special email for them. Don't save them everywhere else, like in Dropbox or Evernote. Pick one place that you're going to save whatever type of idea it is and be consistent with it. And that's the key. Otherwise, this will make it much more complicated and you will be all over the place. Trust me, I have failed at that one, so please learn from me. I had to get back on track when I realized that I had fallen off that wagon before. Now also, just try to do one new habit at a time. Like if you try to do the email and the Todoist and the voice notes and whatever I talked about last week with Evernote and Drive and all of the Rocketbook and everything, if you do all of those at once, you'll probably fail miserably at all of them because your brain can't remember where things are supposed to go, what goes where. So make it a habit. Just stick with it, because if you create one new habit at a time, start one new app and start working with it at a time, one new system, then it's going to be solid, hopefully, before you move on to the next one, and you won't have to think as hard, and it won't be as stressful, and you're going to stay organized. When you start to do too much, that's when it just all falls apart. Okay, so I mentioned at the beginning that I also had an announcement. So my announcement is that I've had everybody asking for so many different subjects with my video series, and I love that because there are so many things that I love to talk about. I think it's all important. It's hard to decide what's what, right? What should I talk about? So I've created some theme days for the video series. Each week of the month will be a different theme. You know, people have asked me for organizing, mental shifts, digital organization, productivity tips. So here are the days that you can expect to hear specific content. Pull out your calendar app because you're going to want to write these down so you remember. Now, the first Thursday of the month, we'll be talking about the mental shifts, new ways of thinking, easy habits that you can implement to change your workday or your life or your organization. We'll talk about all of those mental concepts that will help you get towards your goals and de-stress. The second Thursday of the month, we're going to talk about your home. This is where we'll talk about some organizing ideas, how to become more efficient, some little tricks and hacks that we might have, and save time. How to save time in your home while still keeping it clutter-free and peaceful and organized. Now, if you're in the 365 project, or if you crave more about the home, the 365 project is a great place for that. We received the sweetest feedback this week from one of our members. Now, 365, it's extremely private and confidential when you're a member. You have your own private group. We don't share names. We don't share any information outside of the group. So I'm not going to say a name, but I just wanted to read to you what she said, which made my day. She said, "I truly appreciate this group," talking about the 365 Project's private group, "and the kind of emotional sharing of ideas and organizational decision making. It has truly made a difference. Thank you." That is awesome. And that's exactly what I strive for and what it has become. So if you want more help in your home, step-by-step ideas, encouragement, and a community of other people who are there to support you and share ideas as well, 365 is the way to go. Oh, thank you, Mary. I'm so glad that you think that 365 is so helpful. I have absolutely loved it. Oh, thank you so much, Joanne. I'm glad that you say that I'm awesome. I think that you're awesome too. If you've not checked out Joanne, she is an amazing artist. So if you want to join us, find out more about 365. It's at my365project.com, and I'll post the link. Now, that was the second Thursday, is all about our home. The third Thursday is going to be a fun one because it's either a product review or a hot topic, depending on what I've got going on, what the newest, hottest thing is. So if you want to find out what the hottest gadget is or a product that is totally worth all the hype, then I will bring it on and I'll show you it, I'll talk about it, and I'll let you know what I think. This is also a great way to find out some of those products that they say are super hot and amazing, and they're not. I'll let you know that too. I'm going to review different products and gadgets and apps and whatever is the coolest thing of the day. Also, there will be times where I might have found an amazing thought leader out there, somebody who's got a new concept that has to do with productivity or mental shifts or organization, and I plan to share the basics of what they are teaching and how we can use that to apply it in our own lives. It might come from a book or an audiobook. I'm totally an audiobook listener, so it might be the hottest book to listen to or read, or there might be an online video, and I'll probably link to the video. I'll try to always give you the source, but whatever the hot new idea is that's kind of blows my mind, I feel like I really want to share that. So that'll be on the third Thursday of the month. And the fourth Thursday are the digital and the apps. All of those digital things that we use, the software, the apps, the ways to get from paper to paperless, all of that. That's the fourth Thursday of each month. We'll cover a new topic. We'll talk about the hottest apps and how to use them in a new way or how to implement them. We'll talk about what to avoid that maybe is not as good as we thought that it was, or that they say that it is. Becoming more digital with your productivity easily. We'll talk about that, and just managing the overwhelm of digital life and getting it all together. I mean, come on. Who out there does not sometimes feel overwhelmed in just the amount of digital content and managing it and all the processes and systems? We'll talk about how to get better at that too on the fourth Thursday. So I hope that you join me for each of these theme days. Just to review, the first Thursday, mental shifts. Second Thursday, your home. The third Thursday, a product review or a hot topic. And the fourth Thursday, digital and apps. Write all of those down on your calendar. Make sure that you join me 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time live here on the Spark page. And feel free to post your questions ahead of time. Post them on the Spark page. I will be prepared. If it's within the theme, I will talk about it that week. If it's not within the theme, then I'll just let you know what week I'll be talking about it, but I'll try to get all of your answers either online if it applies to everybody globally, or I will at least answer you one-on-one if it does not apply in a global level. I also promised you the stick with me bonus, right? So if you want to find out my my top favorite apps for productivity, the ones that I use all the time, along with the productivity tricks that I use them with, like batching, energy levels, and simplifying and more, just click. I'm going to put in the comments a link to get my downloadable PDF. It's right there. The downloadable PDF about my top apps. Not only does it tell you the app, but it tells you which productivity trick I use it for and a little bit more back information so that you can use it effectively. I also gave you a little bonus in the bonus because I guess that's how I roll. I can't just do one thing, right? The bonus and the bonus are like a listing of my absolute favorite apps with like just a brief list and review of it on the side about what it is, what you can use it for. These are all ones that I use myself and that I love. So if you're interested in that, click the link in the comments. You know, if this has been shared and the comments aren't there anymore, or the link is not working for you, you can also just text it. So you can text it to 44222, and you're gonna text the code digital1. So it would look like this. Let's see if I can show you. So you see, you're gonna text to 44222, and it'll be, just send the code digital1, and I will get that over to you. Because I know that sometimes these get shared, they get shared a lot, and sometimes the code does not, or the link does not follow it. Click the link or text me. I would love to hear from you and send you out that list of my favorite apps. Now, above all, I always want you to remember, when changing habits or adding new systems, do only one at a time until it's a habit, so you don't get overwhelmed and it does not all crumble. Be consistent. Always use the same app or software every time for that type of content. Use strong keywords when you're naming things for your files or in emails, especially if you're using that email inbox trick. Use the subject lines full of keywords so you can find things with search. Search is the new filing in the digital age. And then finally, keep it simple. Don't make it any more complicated than it needs to be. We've got enough to do. We don't need to add in layers that don't need to be there. So I hope that this helps. As I mentioned, I'm Suzanna Kaye. Thank you all for my comments about the 365 project, and I'm so glad to see so many of my 365ers here and happy to share about the program. And I'm happy to see some of my non-365ers here. If you haven't said hello, now's your last chance to do the, I would love to see who's on and give you a quick hi before we go. But I will see you next Thursday at 11 a.m. on the Spark Organizing Facebook page. Or you can check out the replay on YouTube later or on the Facebook page newsfeed. I hope you all keep being amazing. Thank you so much. Hi, Cherish. It's so nice to meet you. I hope to see you again, and I hope that you enjoyed today. I hope you and everyone have an amazing day. Keep being awesome, and I love you all so much. Have a good one.